Alright guys, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you're watching from. Thanks for joining back to watch the updates. As usual, back to let you know what's happening right now concerning the team. And one man has now called out to NFF and asked them to fire Coach Chelle. And this man is Sam Elijah. He's a former Super Eagles defender, and he's calling out to NFF and he has told them now to let go of Coach Chelle because he believes that failure to qualify for the World Cup was a big loss, and the coach should take responsibility of it. And there's no way beyond that. He feels that the reason that the coach was employed in the first place is to get us a qualification ticket for the World Cup. And the Nations Cup that is coming up in December is something that even without the coach we can do really well in. He feels that the likes of Eguavoen can take over the role and then lead the boys into the Nations Cup, and that will not have any problem whatsoever. That's what this man has come out to say. And obviously this is not just him. There have been a couple of other stakeholders who are pushing and calling out to NFF to fire Coach Chelle, citing the fact that not only that he didn't qualify us, but also the dramatic event of things, that day that we got defeated via penalty shootout by DR Congo, especially the area where he instead of taking responsibility, he blamed it on voodoo, as the reason why the Super Eagles, were knocked out. But I'm just going to read out the words of this man, Sam Elijah, and what he has now told NFF. He says, "I am a coach. For me, yes, he should be sacked because he did not give us the World Cup ticket. So if Coach Eguavoen, who is well qualified and has played for the national team, he had captained the national team, gone to the World Cups, and he could be told to step aside because he lost a match, that is when they asked Chelle to come around to take over from him, because they felt he could not qualify for the World Cup. They felt he lost some matches that were vital. So if they could ask Coach Eguavoen to step aside, then he could step aside too, because what we are looking for, if we cannot go to the World Cup, then he has no business being the national team head coach." So this is the strict message that this man Sam Elijah has sent out to the NFF, which, I mean, for me personally, I think this is a little bit harsh on Coach Chelle, considering everything that has happened. And Elijah talking about Coach Chelle not qualifying us. We have to always realize that we didn't have a fighting chance, before Coach Chelle took over. We had not won any game. I don't think we'd won any game, So it was when Coach Chelle came on board that we started seeing results here and there, and got to the point that we were winning games, won the last 2 games and then qualified for the playoffs. So I mean, it's not going to be fair on the coach, personally, for me, that he's fired at this crucial moment that he's supposed to be preparing with the boys to go to the Nations Cup in December. But again, I'll leave it to let me know what you think about that. Do you think Coach Chelle should be allowed to go, and then we can look for a more a more experienced local coach, just like maybe Eguavoen? But moving forward, guys, Mikel Obi has now come out to react to the Super Eagles, being knocked out in the playoffs by DR Congo. And for him, I mean, he has picked on a number of issues from that match. He picked on the voodoo accusation from Coach Chelle and slammed him for not taking responsibility for the loss, and instead he decided to push it aside, to the juju voodoo accusation that he labeled on the DR Congo contingencies. And then again, he also blamed the organization, of the players. Specifically, he talked about one incident that happened before the match where we saw the likes of Alex Iwobi, snapping the environment, the very substandard environment of their hotel room. You actually talked about that on this channel. But Mikel feels that at a crucial stage or at a crucial point of the playoffs, that those kinds of things should not be taking center stages. Mikel claims that there's no leadership in the team, because if there was leadership, things like that could have been prevented from being posted out to the public, because it brings attention, the very wrong negative attention to the team. He actually blames it on William Chisekong and says that if he was still at the national team and he was the captain, he would not allow Alex Iwobi to post that kind of image. He says that although Iwobi may not have meant bad by posting it, maybe it was just catching cruise or just trying to have this moment on the internet, but may not really mean for it to bring such negative observations and comments from Nigerians, because obviously when he posted that, we reacted to it here on this channel, and then all over social media we saw how it went. The whole blame and complaint about and questions about why would NFF go and lodge a hotel that is below standard for this player. So it kind of felt like they were not being given the best of facilities, and that passed the wrong message and brought the wrong attention to the national team. So Mikel feels that the failure obviously started from this whole this whole attention that the players were kind of getting from social media and all of that, and the whole negative reaction. That was where he feels that the downfall started, even before they stepped on the pitch to play the match on that day. So that's some of the things that Mikel Obi has come out to say. And another thing that he said is that he feels that the NFF have failed because we didn't qualify for the World Cup, and that all of them should resign. Starting from the president down to the last official member, that they should resign, because it's a total failure. It's a very big failure for we to not be able to qualify to the World Cup 2 consecutive times, back to back, one in 2022 and now in 2026. It feels that this is something that deserves the whole entire NFF's board to be fired or to resign, and then they should look for other competent leaders who can lead the team. So that's part of what Mikel said, and he said that if we go on to win the Nations Cup in December, that it still will not justify the fact that we failed to qualify to the World Cup, and for that reason it's going to be a total failure for the NFF whether or not we win the Nations Cup. This is the word from Mikel Obi directly when he hosted his recent Obi-Wan Talk show. He said, does the Super Eagles winning the AFCON 100% make up for missing the World Cup? I don't think so, because we want to see ourselves in the World Cup. I said it, if we do not qualify for the World Cup, the NFF and the entire board have to go. They have to go, because you can't keep repeating the same mistake every time and think something is going to change. It's just going to be the same result. If you have the same people doing the same thing and failing all the time, and you give them another chance, no. Where do we go from here now? A disaster has happened, a big disaster. Let's not make a mistake about it. It's a big disaster, a humiliation to the nation internationally. 2 World Cups in a row, and we call ourselves the Giants of Africa. Let's not deceive ourselves. We are no longer the Giants of Africa when it comes to football, because the Giants of Africa should be in the World Cup. It's a shame that you can't see a striker in his prime, absolutely on fire, not going to be in the World Cup. Haaland knew about it. 28 or 30 years old, haven't been in the World Cup. He knows, as one of the best strikers in the world, he has to be at the World Cup. He has to be, because that's where he belongs. Competing in the World Cup in the biggest stages, on the biggest stage, on the biggest stage, that's where he belongs. And that's a shame that we can't see our best striker in Africa be at the biggest stage, competing, showcasing his talent, scoring goals for our country, our nation, Africa, Nigeria. So that's how Mikel wrapped it up. Of course, talking about Victor Osimhen and obviously the fact that he's going to miss the 2026 World Cup. I said that before. For me, that's my biggest worry, and that's my biggest pain or biggest reason for my sadness, because we will not see Victor Osimhen showcase himself at the World Cup. But then again, the deed has been done, and we have to just accept what has happened and look, further into the future, and hopefully, we get to correct our mistakes, get to work on our team and become better. Of course, we have a very big competition coming up in Nations Cup in December. We have to show ourselves there, and of course, go for the title. That's the only thing that we can at least say, okay, we can win, and then maybe feel better for not qualifying to the World Cup 2026.